Hello all, this is Al Finch. Today we're going to face a special challenge. What I have done is I have set up a puzzle drawn from the Duelist magazine, issue 19 from October of 1997. This is a Magic the Puzzling puzzle authored by Mark Rosewater, and this is the puzzle from pages 98 through 99, which is kind of called a tooth for a tooth. In this particular challenge, we have been set back to just 4 life, and our challenge is to take out our opponent, Tina, who has been set to 30 life. It's taken me a certain amount of time to actually solve this puzzle. I'm going to reveal that time in the comments below. If you want, once you've seen the setup, you can pause this, see if you can solve the puzzle, and see if you can do it by the amount of time that it took me to do it as well. You can leave how long it took you to solve the puzzle in the comments below in response. I encourage you all to show me up. It took me a little while to solve the puzzle. It was listed as a medium difficulty puzzle in the magazine. All right, well, in any case, I have tried to set up my table using the exact same cards as were pictured in the magazine. I did have to make a few substitutions here and there because it was difficult finding the exact additions, but at least everything that I have on the table has the same abilities, and almost everything has the same set of pictures. So should be able to recognize the cards from my setup and match them to the cards that were listed in the magazine. I'm going to go through this step by step. As we go through it, I'm going to mark these off in chapters. So if you're struggling, you can see how we start out and pause and use that as a hint to help you solve the puzzle as well. I'll mark each step as a chapter in the video. All right, let's go ahead and begin. As you can see here, we have the board set up with all of Tina's cards in the top, all of our cards down here in the bottom. The cards in our hand are here on this bit of gray cloth. So everything else that is out on the table. Nothing has summoning sickness. All right, so first things first, we are going to tap a mountain and a swamp in order to cast the Coils of the Medusa creature enchantment from our hand. We're going to target the Benalish Missionary, which is a 1/1 creature that you can spend 1 white and 1 colorless, tap, and target block creature does no combat damage this turn. We place the Coils of the Medusa on it, that creature gets +1/-1, and if we sacrifice Coils of the Medusa, destroy all non-wall creatures blocking that enchanted creature. Well, neither is going to stay on the board here because it's +1/-1. This kills the Benalish Missionary, sending it to Tina's graveyard, and the Coils of Medusa also goes to our graveyard. Something important to note, we've got a Dingus Staff artifact on board. Whenever a creature is put into any graveyard from play, the Dingus Staff deals 2 damage to that creature's controller. So with the Benalish Missionary going into the graveyard, the Dingus Staff triggers, and Tina's life becomes 28. Our life, for reference, is only at 4. Tina has been beating us up quite a bit up to this point. We're going to try and take her out this turn and see if we can do it without taking ourselves out in the process. All right, second step. We are now going to tap 2 mountains. We're going to use that mana to cast a Fire Whip. A Fire Whip is a creature enchantment that says play only on a creature you control. Tap the enchanted creature, and the enchanted creature deals 1 damage to a creature or player. You can sacrifice the Fire Whip, and the Fire Whip deals 1 damage to target creature or player as well. We're going to put this on our Abyssal Gatekeeper, and I'm going to tap the Gatekeeper. When I do this, I'm going to deal 1 damage to the Llanowar Behemoth, which is probably the most dangerous looking creature on Tina's side. We probably wouldn't be able to take this creature out with just damage because of the nature of its ability. It says tap a creature you control, put a +1/+1 until end of turn to the Llanowar Behemoth, which already starts out at a pretty impressive 4/4. But we have a trick up our sleeve. Now that we've done a damage to the behemoth, we can now tap a black mana. Actually, I think what I want to do is tap our Lotus Vale. Lotus Vale comes into play. Sacrifice 2 untapped lands or bury Lotus Vale. Tap, add 3 mana of any one color to your mana pool. I'm going to tap the Lotus Vale to add 3 black mana to my pool. I'm going to use 1 of those black mana to cast Fatal Blow on Llanowar Behemoth. Fatal Blow says destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. It can't be regenerated. Fatal Blow then goes to our graveyard, and the Llanowar Behemoth goes to Tina's graveyard, triggering the Dingus again, bringing her life total down to 26. I'm going to use the remaining 2 black that I have floating now to cast another card from my hand. This card is Shattered Crypt. It's 2 black and X. It says return X target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand and lose X life. I'm going to cast it for 0. So I'm not going to return any creature cards from my graveyard. There are none anyway. And I won't lose any life, but this will get this into our graveyard. This is important. You'll find out in just a few moments why we cast the spell seemingly without any effect. It's not a great spell for us otherwise. Sitting at 4 life, we need to conserve that resource. All right, so now that I have cast the 3rd black spell, all right, and sent my 3rd black spell here to my graveyard, this allows me to move on to my next step, step 3, and that's to cast Spinning Darkness. Spinning Darkness has a cost of 2 black mana and 4 colorless, but it has an alternative casting cost. You may remove the top 3 black cards in your graveyard from the game instead of paying Spinning Darkness's casting cost. Spinning Darkness deals 3 damage to target non-black creature, and we gain 3 life. We're now going to use these 3 cards from our graveyard, remove them from the game, and then target one of the other creatures. In this case, I think I'm going to take out the Benalish Infantry. It's a 1/3 with banding. It's not the most impressive creature, but we need to get it off the board because we've got to clear out blockers. So it's a 1/3 with banding. That means it takes 3 damage. It goes to the graveyard. We happen to gain 3 life from that, so our life total goes up to 7. However, the Dingus triggers as well, and Tina's life drops to 24. All right, we're about halfway through here, folks. Step 4. What we're going to do now is we're going to sacrifice the Fire Whip to kill the Abyssal Gatekeeper. So we'll sacrifice this, kill the Abyssal Gatekeeper. It's a 1/1, so it can only take 1 damage. And it says when the Abyssal Gatekeeper is put into a graveyard from play, each player sacrifices a creature. All right, so the Abyssal Gatekeeper takes 1 damage from the Fire Whip. We take 2 damage from the Dingus triggers. That brings us down to 5. And then when the Abyssal Gatekeeper hits the graveyard, its ability triggers. And now we have to sacrifice a creature, and Tina has to sacrifice a creature. I'm going to choose a Bogarden Firefiend as our sacrifice. And Tina, she's probably going to pick maybe her smallest creature here. It's hard to say exactly. We'll say the Rogue Elephant, since it cost her the least amount of mana. We'll just say that's what she loses as well. It was a 3/3 that for 1 mana, and when Rogue Elephant comes into play, you sacrifice it, a forest, or bury Rogue Elephant. With that gone, all right, and this hitting the graveyard, we each take an additional 2 damage. Our lives now shift. She was at 24 after taking damage for the Benalish Infantry. Now she's down to 22. My life is now down to 3 after taking damage for both the Abyssal Gatekeeper and the Bogarden Firefiend. Now that the Firefiend is in the graveyard, all right, its activity or its ability triggers. When the Bogarden Firefiend is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target creature. Okay, so there's nothing on the board here that we can easily take out. But I'm going to deal 2 damage to the heavy Ballista. The Ballista is a 2/3, so it doesn't die. It can tap to deal 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. I happen to have another creature on board here that will help me finish the job. So step 5 is to tap the Serrated Biskelion. This particular creature is a 2/2, and it already has a -1/-1 counter on it. And it says here, tap, put a -1/-1 counter on Serrated Biskelion, and add a -1/-1 counter to target creature. Well, we put another one of those -1/-1s on this guy. He's dying, okay? And if we put a -1/-1 on this guy, he's dying too, because he's already suffered 2 damage. So in this particular case, we each trigger the Dingus Staff once again. This is going to drop my life total to 1, and this drops Tina's life total to 20. It's looking pretty hopeless at this point, but we've got some cool stuff yet to go. For step 6, we're going to tap 2 swamp, or 2 black mana, and use that to cast this little beauty, Urborg Justice. So 2 black mana for an instant. Target opponent chooses and buries a number of creatures he or she controls equal to the number of creatures put into your graveyard from play so far this turn. Well, let's count that up. I've got 1, 2, 3 creatures in my graveyard. And it just so happens that Tina has 1, 2, 3 creatures left in play. She's going to have to sacrifice the Fallow Wurm, the Redwood Treefolk, and the Ardent Militia. I'm not going to read these things because, well, frankly, their text isn't important now. They were pretty big and beefy. The Fallow Wurm was a 4/4, the Redwood Treefolk a 3/6, the Ardent Militia a 2/5. They would have been able to block my creature and keep her alive so she could win the game, but that's not the case. Now that they've hit the graveyard, her life drops down to 14. All right, we need to finish up here. Step 7, I'm going to tap 2, my remaining swamp, and the remaining mountain. That gives me 3 mana, and I'm going to cast the final card out of my hand. This is Haunting Misery. It's a sorcery. It says remove X creature cards in your graveyard from the game. Haunting Misery deals X damage to target player. We're going to target Tina. How many graveyards do we have? It's the same number as before, 1, 2, 3. We have 3 creatures in the graveyard that we're going to remove from the game. We are going to deal 3 damage to Tina, dropping her total life to 11. And check out what we have on the board. We have a Bloodrock Cyclops, which has to attack each turn if able at a 3/3. A Hidden Horror. When this thing came into play, I had to choose and discard a creature card or bury a Hidden Horror. Why I didn't have a creature card in my graveyard, I couldn't tell you, but I didn't, so it's just a 4/4 now. And then we have these Lava Hounds. They're unaffected by Summoning Sickness. When Lava Hounds enters into play, it deals 4 damage to you. Thankfully, that was done and taken care of. It's a 4/4 as well. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 4 is 11. That's 11 total damage. When we swing in, we bring Tina's life total exactly to 0 and win the game. All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed solving this puzzle with me. As a reminder, if you took the time to solve it on your own, I'd love to hear how long it took you. I'd love to see all you guys beat me. Let me know if you beat me in the comments. You'll see the time it took me to actually figure all of this out in the first comment on the video. Hope you enjoy this. My plan is to run a number of these so that folks can play along and kind of experience these classic puzzles from, well, when I was younger and first started enjoying the game. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you later.